works, it's lost all of its magic.
Exactly. And that's my whole modus operandi for the film. And I'm also doing art that goes along with the film with the same topics, some of the art's in the film. And hopefully I'll get into live performance. I mean, hell, I'd like to see this in concert and even off Broadway. Just any way we can get the message out and actually put butts in the seats so they'll listen to it and they'll walk out of there. They came in to see some entertainment. Maybe they thought it was a little controversial, but they'll walk out thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got a full spectrum operation going. They use every medium, every format as well, and we need to do that as well. We're going to play a comedy clip here. And of course, we have a comedy. There's comedy, there's tragedy, there's all kinds of stuff, different genres of music that you've got on here. And of course, we've got a contest coming up. Of course, ridicule, as Hillary well knows, from Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, ridicule is man's most potent weapon. And so we're going to pour that on the top of Hillary's head in multiple ways. And as we go to this, I think this could very well be the theme song for the presidential elections. He's lying, because you've got a whole string of presidents here in your animation sitting on the piano, the upright piano, kind of swaying to the music, from LBJ all the way to Obama. And we're going to pick up with the one on W. But before we do that, I just got to say, one of the things about live radio is, just as we went to break, I said, I don't want to get rid of Woodrow Wilson. I don't want to erase his name. And it's not because I like Woodrow Wilson, folks. I know I'm going to get lots of cards and letters on this. I know that he's the globalist who started all this interventionism. I know he created the Fed. I know he created the income tax. I don't want to erase his memory. I want to keep him forever in effigy. And so in that sense, let's play a little bit from the W section of He's Lying.
Okay.
W said Saddam Hussein had secrets to disclose, had bugs and bombs and boogeymen hidden in his clothes. He said it might be nuclear, but history still shows thousands died for causes no one knows. He's lying. He's lying. We went to war and now look who's crying.
You guys have the exclusive for, which is a product called Deep Cleanse. And why I'm so excited about it is it's a unique formula, almost like the iodine crystals. We have two unique products that nobody in the world has. One of the most amazing ingredients in the world, and it's called Shilajit, and it's actually known as blood of the mountain or rock sweat, because thousands of years ago, as a matter of fact, this ingredient was only given to the elite of the elite. Thousands of years ago, up in the Himalayan mountains and in Tibet.
And we wanted to put this in stuff for a couple years, but we couldn't get an organic form.
Right. I mean,
so let's explain. I mean, this stuff's so good, we couldn't put it out for years.
Right. So I had to actually, it's kind of like the iodine crystals, finding a source deep in the earth that we could get the cleanest source available. But in Tibet and in Nepal and in the Himalayan mountains, thousands of years ago, they watched these monkeys. And during the summer months, the monkeys would go up into the mountains.
Now you're being racist against monkeys.
And they would pick this black substance from the mountains. And so in Russia, they actually, it grows in Russia in the mountains and in the Himalayas and only in the summer. And Shilajit is actually the decomposition of up to 7,000 different medicinal herbs. So it decomposes, all these different herbs decompose in the Himalayan mountains and the volcanic soil up there. And what happens in the summertime...
So it's almost like an oil from...
Yes, it's high in fulvic acid, it's high in humic acid.
Because they're always claiming oil is really from decomposed animals and plants. There is some oil that is based from fossils, but most of it's really abiotic. But so this is a true fossil source? I mean, explain it to me.
It is, it's really the decomposition, like I said, of over 7,000 different medicinal herbs and plants. And with the rocks and the pressure deep in the mountains, it freezes and during the summertime and the pressures build it up,
it oozes out.
It oozes out. So it literally oozes out of the mountain.
It's like rock sap.
It's like rock sap. It's black and it's highly nutritious. Even in the 1980s, when the Olympic athletes in Russia were accused of being on steroids, they found out that they were actually been given Shilajit because it works as an anabolic as well. and it builds muscles. It's a big dose in there. The second big main ingredient in there is a volcanic zeolite concentrate. And what this formula is designed to do, the shilajit and the zeolites have a real strong negative charge. All the metals and chemicals and PCBs and VOCs have positive charges. So these go in, they grab it, and then they safely eliminate it through the body so you can become healthy. I mean, this is an amazing formula. I wish I actually had it, but because this was an exclusive INFOWARS Life product, you're the only one in the world that has this formula now. And you know, there is going to be a limited supply available when you sell out because you can only harvest this once a year.
How do people take it? How is it recommended that this be done? Just a daily dose?
Yeah, daily dose. The instructions are on the label. You know, of course, I kind of modify it for each individual. It depends on what your lifestyle is. I mean, honestly, the best thing to do is for you to avoid all these chemicals and toxins in your environment and try to identify them and start slowly reducing them. But personally, I'm going to probably take it every day, every other day, and I'll probably go with about a dropper full to maybe 2 dropper fulls. I don't expose myself to any chemicals.
InfoWarsLife.com. Please also support our local AM and FM affiliates, support their local sponsors or become a sponsor, and spread the word. Because these aren't just great products. This is how we fund this independent operation. We're not taxpayer funded like MSNBC or NPR, and neither is your local station. So support them, folks. This is a war. I'm going to read these headlines, and then I want you to respond after. We'll keep you in the next hour. This is just, I just want you in here in the batting pen getting heated up, just stewing in the juices after you just came back from Lundistan, Islama Paris, all of it. White House gave ISIS 45-minute warning before bombing oil tankers. That's from Department of Defense News. Okay, I'm sorry. Pro-refugee leftists rally in Paris, attack police. 1 in 5 Brits, Muslims, has sympathy for jihadists. Obama warns against overreaction to Islamic State attacks. Paris terrorist was welcomed ashore in Greece and given help and clothes by French volunteers. Turkey, the country that ISIS uses as a home base and where it has sold $800 million worth of oil. People ask who keeps buying it. That's them, our good little buddies, Turkey, who then lets them come into Europe. And they call them refugees and say we're racist if we don't accept it. Exclusive, 150 on flight from Mexico, allowed to skip customs, leave JFK Airport. So the government's just flying illegals from Latin America and they can do whatever they want. Yeah, that's New York Daily News. Just, oh, the illegals don't need any IDs, but you've got to have 400 of them. And we're going to let Syrian refugees go and not track them. Russia says U.S. policies help Islamic State. Again, that's like saying the grass is green. I mean, but at least they're saying it. 11 militants from ISIS-linked gang killed an anti-terror op in Russia's North Caucasus. They're calling that literally evil in the media. Crimea in a state of emergency as their main power lines out of Ukraine were blown up by the loving George Soros people, you know, the folks that he helped put in power. Mali gunmen were hunting for Air France staff at Radisson Hotel, wanting to kill some more French. Mali forces hunting more than 3 suspects after attack. Doesn't matter that half the French are total leftists that hate their country and are attacking police, foaming at the mouth to bring more jihadis in, literally just saying, here, rape my daughter, slit my throat, I love you. I mean, these are the most self-loathing, horrible little degenerate. What they are is cowards, and their subconscious is probably 100 times, most experts think, more powerful than the cerebral cortex and your focused consciousness. Your real consciousness is your subconscious and all the data you have in your gut and your spirit. These people are scared of jihadis. They're scared. And so they just go, we love you. Everything's yours. We hate France. Thank you for killing us. We deserve it. You know, Madonna, it's loving. We didn't love you enough. This is our fault. This is just their spirit of weakness, their spirit of capitulation. Mali forces, most people serve the devil because of that. They're scared. They run into evil. They run into spirits of evil. They run into the culture of evil. You decide to join it. You see, most of these Satanists get into this stuff looking for power. Satan is the counterfeit of power. That's what you fools don't know. Thing is, you can't handle the real power. Continuing, Mali forces hunting more than 3 suspects after attack. Gangs of New York, Sicilian mafia offers Big Apple protection from psychotic ISIS. This is how pathetic we've gotten. That was ABC News. France boost ISIS fight as Brussels locked down. You were just there. We're going to cover it. U.S. Special Forces to arrive in Syria very soon. They've always been there, 5 years, as Assad hails Russian airstrikes. Video, Hillary supporters want to repeal Fourth Amendment. Who should pay for the Syrian refugees? And it goes on and on and on and on from there. And as I mentioned earlier, Prince Charles says that it's global warming's caused all this, not radical Islam or our government's opening the door and Turkey bringing them all in. Now, joining us is former Army Staff Sergeant, combat vet Joe Biggs, to speak to that. That's key here. His observations in countries now, in the London stands, in the Paris stands, in the Jihadivilles, and, of course, Michael Zimmerman. Michael, let's start with you. You've worked here a few months, great camera guy, great editor. You've been on a few assignments. You got thrown into the mix of this. What was it like, your observations? Then we're going to get Joe Biggs.
A very interesting trip to go on. It is very strange to be in a place that just recently had these kinds of terror attacks go on, and you've got police and military everywhere, you know, walking the streets, warnings about potential chemical attacks going on while we're there, and it's an interesting place to be.
The hotel we're at, they were on black alert is what they called it. Said it was one of the highest spots that they believed that would be attacked in London because of the train station and the proximity to other places. So I had heard a siren earlier that day, and I was like, what is that? And I walked down to the bar in the hotel, and I was asking these guys, like, what's going on? Like, oh, my, like, this is we're on black alert right now. They're expecting this place to get hit. And you're sitting here, and I'm like, I feel like I'm an artist. I'm like Bob Ross in overseas right now without my paintbrush. My paintbrush being my AR-15, because they don't have that ability to do that. I'm like Picasso when it comes to a gun. I can do whatever I need to do.
You feel naked.
Yes. And I felt like Bob Ross. I couldn't paint my happy little trees or my clouds. I had a canvas, but no brush. You know, and it's the worst thing to be good at
happy
something.
Little trees.
Yeah. The worst thing is to be good at something.
Nice little.
And not be able to do it.
Nice little brook, nice little barn, little deer.
That's flowers. The easiest way I can. I mean, I got home last night and I literally got all of my guns and put them in bed with me and laid down and slept with them. I was so excited to I was like, ah!
You think Obama like that?
Oh, I don't care. But you know, it says right here, White House gives ISIS 45-minute warning. I mean, that just further proves of what we've been saying since day one.
Michael Zimmerman, describe when you went to Brussels, Belgium, and I guess 3 times you got run out of restaurants, run out of convenience stores, run off the street, followed by cars. Just, you're not supposed to, as a European, come in these, I guess, whole towns now where the jihadis are from. You were talking about people shooting guns on the side of the street. They all got guns, rocket launchers are being found because the police won't go in these areas. But all the rest of the good little Europeans follow orders, and, you know, they'll just lay down and let their daughter get raped. I mean, it's crazy what the socialists have done, what the social engineers have done. So break down what you witnessed there, and then Joe Biggs.
Right, so we took a train from Paris to Brussels, and from Brussels we actually walked 40 minutes into Molenbeek, which is this area that they call the jihadi capital of Europe, because all these attackers came from this Molenbeek area. People who did the attack on the train earlier this year came from Molenbeek, and just numerous other attacks over the years came out of this neighborhood.
Yeah, all you gotta do is Google.
Well, they're fighting
Paris
imperialism, according to Black Lives Matter.
Right, so we walked into Molenbeek and we shot a couple of reports in front of the house that had been raided the day before, where the Paris mastermind had lived. And then we started walking back to find a place to go before the live show, and, you know, somewhere to sit down for an hour or so. And it started to get dark and it started to rain. So, you know, put equipment back in the bag so things wouldn't get wet. And very quickly, you know, we tried to go into this business, and had a guy yell at us in Arabic and slam the door on us and prevent us from entering this business there. And then we started walking back into town because it just really felt creepy, wouldn't you say?
Well, why didn't you just tell him you were a refugee and needed some free everything? That's what they tell the Germans.
Right.
Of course, he probably is a refugee, but he wasn't.
Well,
nice
I got my head poked in because I was in the very front. And I poked my head in, and when I looked in there, I kind of saw the crowd of guys that were in there. I mean, it looked like a...
It was like Team in America. He goes, I like your balls.
I looked in there, these guys all look up, and they're kind of like giving that look like this guy just walked into the wrong place. And next thing you know, this guy jumps in, and it's me, Mike's behind me, and Paul's to my right. And this hand shoots right across me, grabs the door, and slams it back and starts like screaming. And Paul said he could understand what he was saying. He was basically saying, get the hell out of here. You don't belong here. So we're kind of like, all right, this is really creepy. Let's just get out of here. Let's beat feet. So we're walking, and I'm like, all right, everybody keep your eyes open, 360 perimeter, look around. And next thing you know, there's a car passed, made a left, came back around, came back again, had 3 younger males, and they